Hey there, this is Alexis Knight. Welcome to True Crime, the Court of Public Opinion. Here we have an episode of Alexis Knight Investigates as we continue our investigation into these mysterious drones. New Jersey alone, it's become the epicenter of a growing mystery, with reports of drones, large, sophisticated, and seemingly purposeful objects filling the night skies. Residents in areas like the Pine Barrens and the Meadowlands have described the drones as eerily quiet, often appearing in formations or conducting precise flight maneuvers. What's most unnerving is their ability to evade detection. When approached by law enforcement, which we have seen law enforcement discuss this on YouTube in their videos, if they haven't taken them all down yet, but they've discussed how they seem to disappear, either by shutting off their lights or darting out of range. Another motion and movement that seems impossible to us. Are these random occurrences? Or is there an underlying method to their activity? And why New Jersey? Why now? We've seen drones used in law enforcement and military operations for years. Many of us have them, so their presence isn't inherently alarming. But the level of sophistication reported here points to something beyond civilian or commercial use. Residents have raised valid concerns. Are these drones monitoring something? Or worse, are they looking for someone or something? If we are to entertain the theory that these drones are part of a U.S. government operation, we need to ask, what would warrant such a massive and highly visible effort? Theories have ranged from the mundane, such as tracking lost military assets or maybe monitoring environmental hazards, to the extraordinary, like locating alien technology or advanced weaponry. So let's start with the more plausible scenarios. One possibility is that the United States is searching for hazardous materials, something so dangerous that it requires extensive surveillance and apparently extensive secrecy. For instance, could this involve radioactive materials that is going around? If a small amount of plutonium or a radioactive device went missing, it would trigger a national security alert. But would the public know about it? New Jersey, with its proximity to major metro areas and critical infrastructure, it would be an obvious place to search if there were a credible threat. Another idea is that these drones could be part of a biological search. Think pathogens or viruses that may have maybe escaped from a lab. I know how scary that sounds. And even scarier, maybe were deliberately released. What happened with those balloons anyway? We never hear about these things, right? Is that going to happen with these drones? They'll just go away and you'll never hear from them again? What if something serious happened? But okay, let's say these drones are part of a biological search. An operation like that would require advanced technology to detect microscopic particles or chemical traces in the air or water. While this might sound like a scene out of a movie, the U.S. government does have programs to monitor for biological threats. This happens. But what about the less conventional theories here on these drones? Because there are whispers in the online communities that are suggesting that the government might be searching for advanced tech that isn't even of this earth. Imagine if something extraterrestrial or of foreign design landed in a remote area. The drones could be scanning for electromagnetic signatures or exotic materials. This is a theory that veers into the realm of science fiction, but the lack of transparency fuels this kind of speculation. I mean, let's think about it though. Did they lose materials all over the globe? Because the drones are very confused then, searching everywhere on the globe, apparently, in different areas. Okay, but now let's talk about what it would take to even carry out an operation like this. It's massive. to carry out a search operation of this scale, one that involves drones potentially crisscrossing the skies over New Jersey, well, it requires a level of coordination, precision, and technology that's very difficult to fathom when you really get in there and think about all of what would need to happen, which a lot of people don't do these days, right? You hear what it is and you accept it and you go about your day. Oh, they're drones searching for, that's okay. Well, we don't know what it is. And if you're interested, you need to keep searching for the answer. All right, so detection. How would they even know something is missing? For the U.S. government to deploy drones like they are, there would have to be a trigger, right? A moment when they realize something's actually missing, endangered, or otherwise unaccounted for. The question is, how does a government notice that a highly sensitive item, be it a material, a weapon, or even a biological threat, is suddenly out there somewhere? Well, satellite surveillance for one. Satellites are constantly scanning the globe for anomalies. If something fell into New Jersey's forests, say a foreign object entering the Earth's atmosphere, well, satellites might detect the impact. However, the question arises, why would this happen in such a populated area? If it was intentional, I guess. Why not a remote region where recovery would be easier and less conspicuous? All right, well, what about radiological sensors? Because if radioactive material were missing, sensors across the country installed at ports and airports and major infrastructure would likely pick up traces. New Jersey's proximity to major ports like Newark could make it a prime target for smuggling operations. If drones were equipped with radiological detection systems, this theory starts to hold weight, doesn't it? But again, why not alert the public? Wouldn't evacuating or warning the area be the logical first step and be something we would be more used to, something that would make more sense to us as Americans? All right, what about biological monitoring? Now, in the case of a pathogen or biological threat, the government might deploy drones to sample air or water or soil in real time. This level of technology exists. It does. But its use would suggest a crisis significant enough to justify nationwide concern. And then why are the drones all over the world? Should we be concerned worldwide of this pathogen? See what I mean? If that's the case, why is everything a secret? This leads us to a central paradox. The logistics of such a search, like I'm talking about, are vast and complex, yet they appear to be carried out in plain sight and without explanation, if that's the case. And then coordinating drone operations, right? We're wondering, how would this all happen, right? The U.S. is doing this, deploying multiple drones, particularly ones capable of prolonged flight and advanced reconnaissance. It requires infrastructure that's very hard to hide. According to the reports and the sizes of some of these things, these are not small commercial drones bought off the shelf. These would likely be military grade or experimental, equipped with cutting-edge technology like thermal imaging, able to detect heat signatures, whether from humans, animals, or objects emitting energy, or chemical and biological sensors, able to sample the environment for traces of specific things, and AI coordination. For drones to work together seamlessly like the reports are saying they are doing, there has to be a centralized system using AI to process data and avoid the collisions. We know that our airspace has already been a challenge. It's become a challenge in recent years. So we're supposed to believe that we have this under total control. Well, according to this theory, yes. The challenge is that this kind of operation would just have to leave behind some clues. Okay, unusual activity at military bases, increased air traffic near New Jersey, or reports of mobile command centers. If this is a U.S. operation, they are either incredibly efficient at hiding these indicators, or they're relying on public disinterest, public stupidity, or ignorance to avoid scrutiny. Now, here's another wrinkle. If the government is indeed searching for something in New Jersey, why hasn't the public been informed? Imagine the consequences if residents unknowingly stumbled upon what the drones are searching for: a radioactive object, a dangerous pathogen, or an experimental device. The lack of a public advisory seems reckless at best and conspiratorial at worst. Are they hoping to recover the object quietly to avoid panic? Because we already know something's going on. Or is it possible that whatever they're looking for is so classified that even acknowledging its existence could be a national security risk, and so they're willing to let us all be frustrated, let you panic or be angry, because it's worth it? You have to ask yourself. And then ask yourself, why New Jersey? I mean, New Jersey may seem like an odd location for such an intense operation, right? If you don't know all about New Jersey, because it can make sense when you examine its geography and its infrastructure. The state is a patchwork of densely populated cities, sprawling suburbs, and vast wooded areas like the Pine Barrens. And these forests in particular provide an ideal hiding place for something or someone trying to avoid detection. I mean, New Jersey sits at the crossroads of several major metro areas, including New York and Philadelphia. It's also home to critical infrastructure, ports, airports, chemical plants, energy facilities. It's got more than the Real Housewives, guys. If something dangerous were in the area, it could pose a significant threat not just to New Jersey, but to the entire eastern seaboard. And what about the Pine Barrens specifically? The Pine Barrens alone cover over 1.1 million acres of land. Okay, that gives you an idea of how big just one small area can be in this country. The United States is a very large country. And we can forget that living in our towns and in our urgency to just get to work and daycare or whatever it is you're doing. You want to get to the gym and Starbucks, I don't know. But there's a lot of country out there that we don't see, that no one touches. A lot of good places to hide things. If the drones are searching here in the Pine Barrens, 1.1 million acres of land, they may be looking for something deliberately hidden or something that landed unexpectedly, right? It could be either way. The area is just so good for something deliberate, but it doesn't mean that it is. And it's worth noting that New Jersey has been a hotspot for unexplained phenomena in the past. Again, if you didn't know. From UFO sightings to rumors of secret military experiments, the state has long been fertile ground for conspiracy theories. I mean, could this be another chapter in that strange history? If we are to believe that these drones are part of a coordinated United States government search for something, we must also consider what such an operation would require and why it seems almost impossible to carry out so publicly. Because what we're doing here is we're going to take this theory on if this is the United States and they're dealing with whatever these objects are, and these are on purpose and intended and they're looking for something. Is this possible? Because we want the truth. That's what we do. Okay, so let's start with the technology itself. The drones being reported are not your average commercial or hobbyist models. Witnesses describe them as large, quiet, and capable of remarkable maneuvers. And to achieve this level of performance, they would need advanced propulsion systems. I mean, most drones rely on propellers powered by batteries or combustion engines. These drones, however, appear to operate silently, suggesting advanced propulsion technology. Are we looking at experimental electric systems, or even something more exotic, like magnetic propulsion? All right, what about high-endurance power sources? I mean, hovering for hours and covering large areas of forest would require energy sources far beyond what is currently available within civilian markets. If any of you have drones, you know you have to have those batteries. And for the average citizen, that is what is available to you. But could this be a military-grade battery technology, or even a small-scale nuclear power source? Could be. How about stealth features? Witnesses report that these drones, they disappear or go dark when they are approached. Now, this suggests they are equipped with radar evading capabilities or advanced camouflage systems. So these features would make them ideal for covert operations, but why reveal them like they are over a populated area like New Jersey? And now let's consider the logistics involved in deploying these drones. These drones would need a centralized command hub, okay, likely located at a secure military facility or in a mobile command unit. This hub would monitor every drone's position, analyzing incoming data, and make real-time decisions as to where to search next. Running such an operation would require hundreds of skilled operators, engineers, and analysts. Has anyone thought about the fact that we need employees here? We need people on the job. Who are they? Each drone would need a dedicated team to manage its systems, interpret its findings, and ensure it doesn't interfere with civilian air traffic. There's a lot to do if you're flying these drones around. What about data processing? I mean, the amount of data collected by these drones, the thermal images, electromagnetic readings, chemical samples maybe, it would be enormous. And analyzing this data in real time would require cutting-edge AI systems and a massive computing infrastructure. Where is that? Now, let's discuss the elephant in the room, okay? Why is this happening in full view of the public? So much is required to do this. Where is everyone? It's obviously for a big reason, or it's a giant mistake that's gone on for a very long time. Why don't we know about it? Why is all this happening in front of us? If the government, the United States government, wanted to keep this operation under wraps, why not conduct whatever it is they're doing in a remote, unpopulated area? Well, the answer could lie in the urgency of whatever this situation is. If the thing they're searching for is truly dangerous, say it is a radioactive device or even a pathogen, scary, they may not have the luxury of choosing a remote location. They may have to act quickly, even if it means exposing their operation to public scrutiny and taking it all day long. But this creates another problem, because the more the people see the drones, the more questions they're going to ask, and the harder it becomes to maintain secrecy. And the more the military says, "I don't know what's going on here," the more we believe them. And that in and of itself is scary, isn't it? But all right, finally, let's consider the risks here. What are the risks involved? If this is a search for something dangerous, what happens if a civilian stumbles upon it first? I mean, imagine a hiker in the Pine Barrens finding a radioactive object or a biological contaminant. The consequences could be catastrophic, not just for that individual, but for the broader public. And this raises an uncomfortable question, doesn't it? Is the government prioritizing recovery over public safety? I mean, if so, they're gambling on their ability to retrieve this whatever it is object before anyone else can find it. Has the Pine Barrens been closed? It's a high-stakes game, and the public is left in the dark about what's at risk. As we unpack the implications of these mysterious drones and the potential for a U.S. operation, we find ourselves grappling with questions that stretch far beyond the skies of New Jersey. This isn't just about drones, is it? It's about what they represent. Power, about secrecy and the delicate balance between security and freedom. Governments often walk a tightrope between protecting sensitive information and maintaining public trust. This is a true thing, it's a real thing, and it is important. We cannot have global panic. Now, if these drones are part of a classified operation, the secrecy might be justified, especially if revealing the details could tip off adversaries or create widespread panic. But secrecy has a way of backfiring. Think back to the UFO phenomena of the mid-20th century. For decades, the U.S. government dismissed sightings as weather balloons or optical illusions, kind of like what they're doing now, only to later admit to secret programs like Project Blue Book. The public's takeaway: if they're hiding this, what else are they hiding? The same dynamic is unfolding here. If the drones have a mundane explanation, the lack of clear answers leaves room for conspiracy theories to grow. This leads to a critical question: at what point does secrecy do more harm than good? How about technology and power? Because the technology at play here raises serious concerns about how power is distributed in our society. If the United States government, or any entity for that matter, possesses drones that are this advanced, who ensures they are used ethically? I mean, today, what is it, a search mission? Maybe. Tomorrow it could be widespread surveillance. Maybe tomorrow could be widespread pathogen release. Where do we draw the line to our own security? Consider the implications for privacy even. Drone equipped with thermal imaging and electromagnetic sensors can peer into places previously thought secure, like your home, your car, even your phone's signal. If these capabilities are being used now, what safeguards exist to prevent abuse, to prevent it all from going too far? And this isn't just an American issue, guys, even though we're taking that point of view here in this episode. If the United States has access to such advanced tech, other nations are likely racing to develop or acquire similar capabilities, or maybe they already have it. The potential for misuse, whether espionage, warfare, or even domestic control, is enormous. And let's not forget the international dimension. What if these drones are being monitored by foreign powers? Their presence over New Jersey could inadvertently spark diplomatic tensions or even conflict, especially if another nation interprets their actions as hostile. And what if nations got together on this one and we're about to have a total global takeover? That is a way maybe the technology could be possible. Anyone see that happening? And what about the psychological cost? Because we also need to consider this. Seeing unidentified objects in the sky, drones or otherwise, it has a way of unsettling people. Maybe you. It reminds us of our vulnerability, both as individuals and as a society. Some wonder maybe as a planet. The longer this mystery persists, the more it will feed into feelings of paranoia, distrust, and helplessness. And this isn't just speculation. Studies have shown that prolonged exposure to unresolved mysteries, whether in the news or personal life, can increase stress levels and diminish trust in institutions. The drones over New Jersey might be more than a technological marvel. They could be a symbol for how fragile our sense of control really is. I mean, to fully understand this mystery, we need to examine how the public is reacting and what this says about our culture at large. The buzz around these drones isn't just about their presence. It's about the stories we tell ourselves so that we can make sense of them. Public trust in government and media, it's been eroding for years, let's face this. And this situation is a perfect storm for conspiracy theories. Not a fan of conspiracy theories in True Crime, the Court of Public Opinion, but they're happening and they're being fueled by the secrets. On one hand, we have official agencies downplaying these sightings, suggesting they're misidentified aircraft, or, quote, nothing to worry about, unquote. And on the other hand, we have witnesses describing drones with capabilities far beyond what's publicly acknowledged. This disconnect creates fertile ground for speculation. I mean, are these truly United States drones searching for something? Or is that an explanation that's just a cover-up that makes us feel better somehow for something bigger? The lack of clear answers, it forces people to fill in the blanks, and that's what happens with theories, conspiracy theories, and they're born out of people's worst fears, aren't they? We need answers. Social media platforms like X, they've amplified this mystery. They've got hashtags like New Jersey Drone Mystery and What Are They Looking For? It's trending across the platform. But as we've discussed earlier, some users claim their posts have been taken down or accounts suspended even for discussing these theories. When do conspiracy theories dip into the actual theory that bothers someone enough that they need to take you down? And whether intentional or not, this perceived censorship only fuels the fire. People begin to wonder, if there's nothing to hide, why the crackdown on discussions? Social media becomes both a megaphone and a battleground, where theories compete for attention and narratives. They're shaped in real time. And this isn't the first time, guys, a technological mystery has captured the public's imagination. Certainly won't be the last. From the Roswell incident in 1947 to the more recent Pentagon admissions about unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAPs. Interesting that they're calling these drones, though, even though, according to everyone, they're still unidentified. But history is filled with these moments where the government's reluctance to disclose information, it's led to widespread speculation, of course. And what makes this case different, though, is the visibility of these drones, okay? So we've had this happen before, and I've seen out there they're saying, hey, this has happened before, don't worry about it. But we do need to notice that this one is different, and we can't just take the first thing that we hear as an answer. Sure, we have wondered about unidentified objects before, but these are everywhere all the time. You know, unlike UFOs that appear as fleeting lights or distant shapes, these objects are tangible, they're mechanical, they are undeniably real. And this ends up blurring the line between conspiracy and legitimate concern. I mean, if no answers are provided, this mystery could become an enduring part of American folklore. And we all know about that. It could become a story, and then later, hundreds of years from now, no one will know what really happened. But there's also a risk that it could escalate. I mean, imagine if one of these drones does crash, or if an independent investigator uncovers classified information. The fallout could be massive, both politically and socially, and it could be good or it could be very bad. Alternatively, this story could just fade into obscurity if we let it. Just another unsolved enigma, relegated to internet forums and late-night radio shows. But even in obscurity, it would leave a mark, serving as a reminder of how little we truly know about what's happening in our own skies, in our own universe. As we bring this episode to a close, it is clear that the New Jersey drone mystery, it's more than just local curiosity, isn't it? This is a microcosm of larger issues. We have the tension between security and transparency. This is at its head, right? We are wanting to know what's going on, and they are refusing to give us anything. The rapid pace of technological development and advancement, it's also in there, and the fragility of public trust. Boy, is that teetering. So what are these supposed drones searching for, if that theory is one we're going to go with? A radioactive device? Does that make you feel good, if that's what it is? How about if they're searching for a biological threat? Does it make you feel better Just knowing that those drones are of U.S. origin, no matter what they're searching for, maybe they're searching for something even more extraordinary. Does it still make you feel better if those drones belong to the United States? Why does that theory even work? Why are they saying it? Why are they all over the world? How can we believe that? But do we? Will we accept that? Maybe this isn't US at all. Maybe it's not Earth at all. Only a few people have discussed that on the news. I mean, for now, the answers remain elusive, but one thing is certain. The skies over New Jersey have become a canvas for our fears, our hopes, and our endless curiosity. Thank you for joining me in True Crime, the Court of Public Opinion, on this episode of Alexis Knight Investigates and our little drone problem. Stay safe out there, guys. Ask the difficult questions and always dig for the truth. And until next time, this is Alexis Knight.